All right, guys, we are back with part 2. So, if you haven't seen part 1, I would say go check out that part of the list before we even get into the nitty gritty. For those who need to get caught up, we are doing my top 25 fragrance brands of all time. My top 25 fragrance brands of all time that are in my collection. Now, you guys, like I said, you've seen the first 15. Now, we get down with the top 10. I'm not gonna hold you. If you're ready to see the top 10 of my top 25 favorite fragrances of my entire collection, sit back, relax, get some popcorn. It's about to go down. All right, here we go. With number 10, I've been talking about this fragrance house for over a year, and I'll say it again, this is one of the hottest fragrance houses on the block. And that fragrance house is Niche in Perfume. Yes, Niche in Universe Fragrances. The concept is fantastic. Taking the idea of what an asteroid might smell like, what the moon might smell like, what space might smell like, what the sun kind of represents when the rays are radiating off of the biggest star in our solar system. To take that concept and say, I wonder what these things would smell like, or just an interpretation of just the feeling it might give, is genius. Now, of course, none of us will ever know what any of that stuff smells like, obviously, but they just have some outrageous, unbelievable offerings when it comes to a wonderful olfactory experience. This one right here, son, is one of the best amber fragrances I've ever come across. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Amber and chocolate with a soft spice, but if you want a beautiful crystallized amber that has a really beautiful, dense milk chocolate note fused inside that amber with some spices in there, bruh, this is it. You know I'm gonna tell you space is fantastic. Obviously, you saw my review on Kepler 51D. I got at least 3 more reviews coming up. I haven't even shown you guys, what my thoughts are on Venus yet, but that one is fantastic. Moon, Mercury, space, black hole, I can go on, the list goes on and on. They have just some of the most fun and exciting fragrances that you need to get your hands on, your nose on. Trust me, they are the next thing popping. Go check them out. Niche in Perfumes. It's fantastic. That's why they're on my list. Let's go check out the next one. Now, the next fragrance house, I just have to say, it is refreshing and exciting to see a new perfumer, fragrance creator step into the niche world and say, you know what, I'm not doing what y'all doing, I'm going to do something different, but I'm going to do it really well. And that fragrance house, that not only did it capture me with the presentation, but every single fragrance that I have from that collection has put my expectations on new fragrance creators, new fragrance brands on another level. You got to step your game up if you trying to step into this niche game, because Jubalun has done something that y'all won't catch up for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years, this fragrance house has literally transported me to the future of what perfumery is supposed to be like. And I say that because it is rare, really rare for a connoisseur of perfumes like myself, a collector for almost 20 years of niche fragrances, to be this excited, this blown away by such unusual note compositions to create such wonderful, mesmerizing, just attractive fragrances. And this is one of the best ones. This is S'il vous plaît. S'il vous plaît is, if you haven't seen my review, a beautiful blueberry fruit pastry-like fragrance that has a herbal green atmosphere surrounding this pastry. If you're looking for a fragrance that's gonna stun each and every person you walk past, is gonna have you craving for some type of dessert, this is a fragrance you wanna check out. The brand has another fragrance that I'm planning on reviewing right after this video called Rich as Cerasses, or Cerasses, I think that's how you say it. And I'm telling you, that fragrance in itself has a one-of-a-kind cashmere note that, once again, is in a league of its own. It is so far ahead of any fragrance that I've come across that mixes spices with cashmere wood, that has this almost cozy essence, but also gives you sweetness, fruitiness, and spices all combined in something that, once again, you guys are gonna have to catch up, you perfumers that are out here creating dupes and clones of everything else that is on the market. They have a Taif Rose fragrance that I cannot wait to review for you guys. That one's coming soon. And I'm a teaser right now. There is a citrus-based fragrance that they have that I cannot wait to the middle of the spring to review for you guys, that I am 99% sure that this fragrance will sell out once you guys get your nose on it. It will sell out. That's how fantastic it is. However, Jubalun Fragrances had to be on the list as one of my favorite fragrance houses, even though it's a new fragrance house in my collection. It had to be on there because I am excited for this brand, and they just put a smile on my face every single fragrance that I've worn. So, go get them. Yeah, you already know what I'm gonna say. Let's go check out the next. All right, guys, at number 8, we have one of my loves, one of my dearest fragrance houses in my collection, and one of the first niche houses I've actually reviewed on my channel over 10 years ago. And it's been a fragrance house that will continuously be in my top 10 fragrance houses of all time. And that fragrance house is Mentally Rosa. Yes, Mentally Rosa Perfumes from Italy, created by the wonderful Stefania, has captured my heart since my first interaction. And ironically, it was this fragrance here, ID, or ID. The best cinnamon-based fragrance that I've ever come across to this day. And yes, I've had this particular fragrance in my hand since 2013, maybe 14, one of the two. And the spices, the sweetness, the oriental delicate vibe that this thing has is perfect. You guys have heard me talk about so many of their fragrances in that line, like one of my favorite rose fragrances, Limette, from one of my newest fragrances that I talked about late last year called Monia. North. Another fragrance house that, once again, you have to be a real niche head to appreciate, because Stefania has told me, and I'm pretty sure she's done interviews where she said that her fragrances come from her dreams. A lot of them are interpretations from dreams she had, and she translates that into perfumes. And I'm not saying that's all of them, but there are a lot of them. But what you're gonna get is you're going to get some really rich, some really authentic fragrances. Like I said, this is cinnamon. You have another fragrance, Lamette, that is a very, very thick, spicy, warm, I would say resinous rose. One of the best rose fragrances in the world. They have an apple-based fragrance that smells like a rich green, crisp Granny Smith apple. Pretty sure I'm gonna butcher the name, but I think it's called Soroyo. I'll put it up here. One of the unique takes about that line is you're always going to get some unique type of top. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a unique top, and this is what makes the brand stand out. The caps are so gorgeous. The bottles are simplistic, but they're timeless. And once again, the fragrances are spectacular. Go check out that fragrance house. Minty La Rosa is niche of the niche. You know if you know. But if you don't know, now you know. Let's go check out the next one. All right, so the next fragrance I have for you guys, I consider this to be one of those high-end niche designer brands. And it is probably the only, no, well, I have Christian Dior Private Collection and Guerlain too, but those two brands aren't in my list. But this brand right here not only makes some of the best wedding gowns, tuxedos, ballroom gowns, and jewelry in the world, but they also make some of the best fragrances. And that fragrance house I'm talking about is Hayari Paris. Yes, of course I'm gonna put Hayari Paris in my top 25 favorite fragrance houses of all time. And the reason why I put this house in there over Christian Dior, Tom Ford, or any other of those other niche designer, Guerlain, of course. One, because they have established themselves in the niche market as right in that threshold of affordable, but the smell smells like $400 fragrances. The ones that I have in my collection, now I haven't smelled every fragrance they have. I've smelled at least, I'll say at least a dozen of their fragrances. I think they have about 15 in their line, maybe 20. I could be mistaken. The ones that I have smelled, every single time, and I mean every single time, I've been surprised. And I mean pleasantly surprised, not just surprised. I've been pleasantly surprised of every time I smelled the fragrance, because most of these fragrances were either buying purchases or fragrances that were sent to me and I never smelled them before. And except my favorite, I wouldn't say my favorite, my second favorite, Only for Him. I smelled Only for Him when I went to New York, and I was blown away once again by that fragrance. Totally surprised of how they mixed a Caribbean spice element with citrus notes and made it smell like a mojito or margarita. But to tell you one thing about this brand is that they take that designer, mass appealing smell, they transfer some unique, really expensive and elegant notes to the niche world. But for me, the best part about this brand is it's not overhyped. It is not known by a lot of people. So you get to have some little nuggets of treasure. And when I tell you, I'll put this stuff up against any of those brands, Christian Dior, Tom Ford, Chanel, Guerlain, any of those brands. I'll put this brand up against any of them, and I guarantee you're gonna pick this majority of the time. This one I have in my hand, Faham, a beautiful take on rose and saffron. I cannot tell you how gorgeous this is. It smells soft spices, sweet. The rose petals are just one of the most freshest, gorgeous rose petals you'll ever come across. It's like they left one really dry, strong, spicy rose mixed in with those soft, fresh roses. Just one petal, like one of the petals is just dried up, but the saffron, the beautiful bouquet of roses, the freshness and the elegant sweetness in this one is just outstanding, guys. The whole line is amazing. You guys already know by now, Evening Signature is my favorite fragrance from this house, but I want you to check out all of them. They're up there somewhere. You can see some of them there, and there's a bunch back there. But Hayari Paris, absolutely a stunning fragrance house, and I need you guys to pay attention. Go check them out. The next fragrance house I want to talk to you guys about is another fragrance house that I love. I'm probably one of the only people that really talk about this fragrance house because when they don't give out a bunch of free fragrances, they're not just sending fragrances out for reviewers to review, just to hype up. I pay for majority of the ones I have, and I was blessed by Sophie to be able to get a few fragrances for review. But I would say that I helped kind of spread the word about this fragrance house, and that fragrance house I'm talking about is Affinessence Paris, or Affinessence, however you say it. I say Affinessence, but this is one of the houses that bring me joy. I honestly have a smile on my face every time I spray one of their fragrances. Not to mention the gorgeous bottle. This is, if you don't know, one of their newest fragrances in the line. But what drew me to this fragrance house, I'll tell you that, they have a story and they have a theme. The theme for their houses, if you don't know, when they first came out, they started with base notes. Base notes was based upon dark fragrances. They took the dry down and brought it to the top. And most fragrances start out with fresh, citrus, fruity, or something clean to kind of draw people in. But they know they wanted something dark, resinous, spicy, gourmand even, to kind of change the direction of what people would expect from a fragrance. And they did a fantastic job, especially with this brand. One of the fragrances I love from this house is Patchouli Oud. Nothing like this on the market. This is almost piney, earthy, animalistic, and sweet, all mixed into one bottle. Stunning fragrance. Another fragrance from their house. This is my favorite fragrance from the house. This is Musk Ambergris, 100% authentic ambergris. Salty, sea salt, sweet, musky, and a beautiful dry down amber note. This masterpiece in my opinion. And they also decided to make in their line the top note collection, where they focus mainly on celebrating the top notes, but with a twist. They took the top notes and almost made it linear, where it stayed like that the entire time of the fragrance. Now, it's hard to take most citrus based or fresh fragrances to make them last, because they usually don't tend to do that. But Sophie, with her genius creative mind, she was able to do that. And we have this fragrance right here created. This is Ginjambra Latte, where they took green tea, citrus notes, fresh green tea, and mixed it with a latte. So this is what you got. A fresh green tea mixed with a creamy latte dry down. When I tell you, every single thing about that house makes me smile, and I want you guys to experience the house. This one right here, Neroli Saffron, of course, a new fragrance like I mentioned, but they took black tea, saffron, and neroli and combined them and decided to focus on the mid notes. This is their latest line, their latest collection, the mid note collection. And once again, guys, you guys got to check this house out, because it is one of my favorite fragrance houses. And if you're looking for something unique and something that will stand out amongst all the other niche brands out there, and even in my collection, I think this is the house that will stand out in that category of uniqueness and storytelling out of all other ones. So go check them out. I think you'll love them. All right. All right, I think we down to the top 5. Let's go check out number 5. All right, guys, we're getting down to it. We down to the top 5. Y'all ready? I know it's been a long journey. I hope you guys staying with me, but it's well worth it. Now, number 5, a house that I started my journey with again. One of the first niche fragrance brands I brought to the niche community and also reviewed. And that fragrance house is Jubalun. Yes, Jubalun is one of my all-time favorite fragrance houses, and of course there's no way I wouldn't put this on the list. I know you guys already know that, especially fans of my channel that's been rocking with me since the beginning. Y'all know that Julian and Madalena are a couple. They decided to create a brand focused on their love journey, their story, and kind of bring it to life where they're telling their story through fragrances, from their wedding to vacations to honeymoons to trips around the world. And I think that they have done a fantastic job doing that. Not only are the bottles beautiful in my opinion, with the frosted glass back, if you guys can see that, with the timeless bottle design, I think these are beautiful presentations. But when you talk about fragrances, the juice, Aqua Sexus, a fragrance that concentrated on fig, citrus notes, and a beautiful combination of a vacation kind of a soft drink mixed with maybe a boozy aspect. And I would say that rhubarb note just stands out. It makes that fragrance shine. Stiletto on Lex, which is one of the most sexiest women fragrances you can get. Belladonna, my favorite fragrance for a woman. I bought that for my wife. She loves that fruity floral fragrance, and my wife isn't really a floral person, but Belladonna just kind of took her to another level, and it is sexy. Anytime she wears that, I go crazy. Guys, I'm telling you, this house is the house to look at if you're looking for one of the premier Paris. If you're looking for a beautiful, wonderful, traditional French-based perfumery or perfume house, this is one I would definitely check out. And you know, I'm going to talk about this one right here. My favorite fragrance of all time, Amor di Palazzo. A suede-based fragrance that has nutmeg, that has clove, sweet nuance, definitely a sensual oriental-based fragrance that captivated me with its suede-like dry down. And I don't know what they did or how they did it, but they added a beautiful sweet note that just is breathtaking. I don't know if I can say which one I would tell you to get. I would tell you to check the whole line out. Nia is another one you guys gotta check out. But once again, I can go on and on about this fragrance house, but you gotta check them out. Jubalun, absolutely fantastic. Number 5 on my top 25 list. Let's go check out number 4. Number 4, I don't need to speak too much about this fragrance house. It is another prestigious fragrance house in the fragrance community, and that is MDCI. What can I say about this house that hasn't been said already? They once again make some of the best presentations in the world. Obviously, the bus, you know, is an attention grabber, elegant bottle design, but the juice, the one I have in my hand, is the best Chypre on the market, in my opinion. I would say Diaghilev is probably second best. That's just me. Some people would disagree, but this is what I go for if I'm looking for a Chypre based fragrance. Well, I don't have Diaghilev either, so I mean that's another reason. But they just make great fougere Chypre based fragrances, in my opinion. From Chypre Palatin to Evasion Barbar to Les Indices Guerlain, one of my favorite gourmand fragrances, to Amber Imperial. I think that's how you say it. It's a beautiful amber-based fragrance they have. It's so many fragrances in that line that are wonderful. And there's another fragrance that I have to get in my collection. Definitely gonna try to get it this year. And that fragrance is Le Barbe de Tanger. Now that is one of the cleanest fougere fragrances that I've come across in a long time. Now, some people might say it's a little old school, but I love that clean lavender. It's almost shaving cream-like fragrance with the lemon and the pepper. Oh, it's just gorgeous. That is the next fragrance I'm gonna get. But I'm telling you, MDCI, if you love barbershop style fragrances, guys, go check them out. If you love floral fragrances, ladies, go check MDCI out. And if you love these type of beautiful busts and design, I don't need to say nothing about it. Y'all know these are gorgeous. Go check them out. That's at number 4. Let's go check out the top 3. I need you guys to do me a favor. Pause right now and comment down below if you can. Tell me which one you think my number 1 pick is gonna be. Some of y'all might know, some of you guys might think you know, but I don't think y'all gonna be right. All right, so let's go with number 3. So my number 3 pick, most people say this is the rock star of niche fragrances right now. This is probably the fragrance houses most people want or have in their collection, and rightfully so. It is just doing everything right in the fragrance game. And that is Amouage. Yes, Amouage is one of my favorite fragrance houses. I don't have a lot of their fragrances in my collection. Plan on getting at least 2 more this year, but the ones I have, I rock all the time, and they just are fantastic. From Interlude Man to Amouage Gold to Royal Tobacco, they just can't stop. Some of my favorite fragrances, Reflection Man, Journey Man, and of course Jubilation 25, and the new version, Jubilation 40. Outstanding fragrances in every aspect. I have 4 or 5 fragrances of Cecile Zarokian's new creation for this house, Outlands, and that fragrance is absolutely going on my list. I'm 90% sure that I'm gonna grab that this summer. I know it's a winter fragrance, but it's like $400. But when I tell you the smoky aspect, the incense, this fragrance house is the incense king. If you're looking for smoky, if you're looking for resonance, if you're looking for strong fragrances, this is a house to look at. Everything about this house just screams royalty, just screams upper class, and they just are attention grabbers. If you the type of shy person, you're probably not going to want this fragrance because it's going to attract attention. This fragrance house always has just astonishing fragrances. Bertrand Duchaufour has made some wonderful creations. Like I said, Cecile Zarokian has made some wonderful creations from this house, and you can't go wrong with Amouage. You can't. It's impossible. They have literally everything for everyone. So I'm telling you guys, go check them out. Amouage at number 3, my top 25 favorite fragrance brands of all time. All right, let's go to number 2. My number 2 fragrance house, and honestly, this was very, very hard because 1 and 2 have been, for the last maybe decade, have been the 2 houses that I probably purchased the most or have gained the most fragrances in my collection from these 2 particular fragrance houses. And I'm gonna tell you right now, number 1 deserves to be number 1 for a reason. And number 2 used to be my favorite fragrance house in my entire collection in the world. Boadicea the Victorious is at number 2. And I I know you guys are like, what, Rome, what? Are you bugging? No, I'm not. I'll tell you 2 reasons why this fragrance house is still absolutely one of my favorite fragrance houses in the entire world, and why it's not number 1. Every fragrance that I have in my collection right now are the fragrances that I want. There's probably 3 or 4 fragrances that I still want to buy from this house, but truth be told, a dear friend of mine that was part of the fragrance house, fragrance brand, is no longer there. So that kind of put a little like stain in my heart, because I really enjoyed the company of that person. He was really kind to me. I don't want to put his name out there because it's not fair to him, but that is a big reason why I'm like, I can't really feel the same way, because a part of that fragrance house is no longer there. And on top of that, half of the fragrances that I have up here are discontinued. I can't purchase these fragrances anymore, which are a shame. So that also is a slight stain for me right now. But overall, my journey with Boadicea the Victorious started when I started my niche collection, and they have always made astonishing fragrances. A lot of the fragrances have now been copied, and people that have not experienced this brand are calling this fragrance house out of their characters, saying that they're making dupes of other brands. And I'm like, no, you got it mistaken, my man. That other house is copying Boadicea. You got to do your research. But to stay on a positive topic, they have right now over 45 fragrances that you can pick from. And this is one of the best fragrances in the game. Tobacco Sapphire is a wonderful take on musk, tobacco, sweetness, and a boozy aspect that makes this fragrance smell almost like whiskey, musk, brown sugar, and tobacco. That tobacco leaf isn't burning, isn't smoky, but it's green, sweet, and then you have almost a dryness with it. They have so many fragrances that I love. You guys know, like this one right here, Blue Sapphire. This is a fragrance that I wear on my son's birthday that's actually coming up, and I've worn it for over 10 years. My oldest son, Sire Namur, another beautiful fragrance, one of the best rose oud combinations in the world. Nebulous, the best oud fragrance I've ever come across. There's so many, you know, intense. I would sit here all day and tell you all the beautiful fragrances from Boadicea. I just would say, if you're looking for something in the $200 range, you'll find something. If you're looking for something in the $400 range, you'll find something. If you're looking for something in the $1,000 range, you'll find some fragrances there too. But they have a beautiful collection of citrus, gourmand, floral, woody, oriental, everything you can ask for, Boadicea the Victorious has. And you will be lying to yourself if you tell me they don't have some of the best looking bottles in the game. Yes, you know they do. So Boadicea the Victorious is at number 2, and deservingly on the list of being one of my top 25 favorite fragrance houses in the world. Let's go check out number 1. All right, guys, we finally here. This has been the longest video I think I've ever shot, and I'm so tired. You don't know how many times I've had to stop this video to either change the battery or change the memory card. It's been crazy, but I did it for you guys because y'all my peoples, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I saved this one for last because they have now solidified themselves as being my favorite fragrance house in niche fragrances. this fragrance brand has not only surpassed my expectations in creating some of the most gorgeous fragrances in the world, they have solidified themselves as one of the best bottle designs in the fragrance game. And that fragrance house I'm talking about is Kajal Perfumes. Yes, Kajal Perfumes is created some of the best fragrances in the world, and I can say right now in my collection they have at least 3 masterpieces in that collection, and this is one of them. Lamar is absolutely a stunning, beautiful, fruity, spicy, dry fruits, tropical fruits, spices, and sweetness all wrapped up in one. And you guys already know this is one of my summer bangers. The bottle design is gorgeous, the smell is stupendous, and for a wonderful take on a citrus fragrance, this thing lasts 10 hours easy. They have so many fragrances that I love. This new one that came out a year and a half ago surprised me because I didn't think anything was gonna smell like this. This dark bottle with the bronze color is so off-putting for the name of the fragrance. This is Kajal 4, and this has one of the best takes on dates. This is the first date fragrance you want to wear. I'm just saying it. If you want something that's going to smell or have that balance between soft, spicy, and really sweet gourmand fruit notes, this is it. That date that has this almost a resinous, dry, sticky fruit, but the soft spice just makes it work. It is stunning, the stunning concoction. And of course, you know, my favorite fragrance in the entire line right now, Icon. Icon is, it's the banger. Praline, pineapple, passion fruit. Who does that? Who can mix tropical fruits with a gourmand pastry, or kind of, I would say, gourmand pastry or gourmand kind of syrup, and make it work? Only they can do that. This is the only house I've seen do that, and they just keep dropping bangers. They just dropped a fragrance maybe a few days ago called Ruby that's coming out. Can't wait to review that for you guys. I have such respect and so much love for this fragrance house because not only have they shown me love, they are probably the only fragrance house that, and I know this for a fact, the only fragrance house that shows me respect by commenting not only on my social media page, but on this page, showing that they actually watch the reviews. They want to know the feedback from what I'm talking about, and they're just beautiful, kind people. So in my opinion, this is one of the best fragrance houses in the world, and my favorite fragrance brand in the entire world. So that's why they got #1. All right, guys, I finally did it. It is done. I have so many fragrances on this table right now. I hope my desk can hold up. But this was fun. This was fun. It was tiring. It's probably like almost 11 o'clock at night right now, but I did it. I wanted to do it for you guys. I wanted to show you guys some of my prestigious brands in the top 25 fragrance brands, houses in my collection. And I want you to grab some fragrances from these houses because you're gonna stand out. You're gonna smell unique. You're gonna cause conversations, and you're gonna have something that's luxury. And the most important thing, in my opinion, maybe you might share this also, is I'm confident that wherever you go, no one's gonna be wearing this fragrance house or brand. They're just not. They're just not that available. They're just not that popular in the sense that everybody can get them. They're not available everywhere. I think that that is something that is missing in the niche world. I think that if it's available everywhere, that's not niche. If it doesn't have a unique smell, a unique take on the story, it's not niche. So you guys go check them out. I think you're gonna have some fun with these. And comment down below if you have any in your collection already. I'll be eager, and I just want to know what fragrance you guys have. And if you purchased any fragrances from any of these houses, of course I'm going to link them down below. Do me a favor, because this helps a lot. If you purchased them in person, tell them I sent you. Tell them Rome recommended this brand for me. If you get in contact with the fragrance houses, let them know, because that helps my channel out. That helps my business out, where they know where the sales are coming from. I'm not going to tell you to do what. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money, because you're going to do what you want. That's not my prerogative, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just saying, if you want to show me some love, the places that I'll link down below, most of the time I'm affiliated with those places, and it really would benefit my channel and my business with them to continue if you show me some love by shouting me out. So with that said, I want to say thank you guys for watching. I gotta give my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ all the praises, all the love. Thank you for allowing me to withstand this, because this was this was a lot. All glory goes to you. I know that this video is going to be fantastic, and once again I thank you for allowing me to be here with my fragrance family. I watched this Instagram post that really touched my heart. This lady was talking about her prayers and how we tend to pray to God for things that we want or we think we want, and sometimes we don't think those prayers are answered. And she was giving her testimony of how she saw a house and she wanted that house for her parents and her to live in and to try to mend their family and bring them back together. And she prayed to God that, God, help me kind of solidify my family in this house and let me raise a family in this house. And it didn't happen the way she wanted. She wound up, my parents wound up separating. They didn't stay together. The house got rented out or bought out by somebody else years later. But in full circle, she wound up, maybe I think like 10 years later, she wound up meeting her soon-to-be husband. They actually wound up going into that neighborhood. He said he was renting that specific house out for tenants that he was getting money from. And lo and behold, he told her, she told him, hey, this is a house years ago I was trying to get my parents to buy, and I prayed to God that, you know, one day I will live in this house. And he was like, you want to live in a house, you want to move in. And not to make the story long, the fact that she prayed to God about wanting to move in that house and it didn't work out the way she thought it would, instead of that, it worked out the way God wanted it to work out. She didn't mend her parents' relationship. She started her relationship with her husband and built a family in that house. For 12 years they lived in that house. So it goes to show you that God is listening. God does have a plan. God does listen to your prayers. It just might not be the way you think your prayers are being answered, or it might not work out the way you wanted to work out, because sometimes we think we know best. And I'm here to tell you that God knows best. He knows what's best for us. He knows what he has plans in the future for us. And it only takes those prayers to happen. You pray for it, you ask God for it, and you let him work it out, and he will work it out in your favor. Don't look at the situation and think that I prayed and it didn't happen. Dig a little deeper. Stay in prayer and see how his miracles work. See how your prayers are being answered. And you're going to have those aha moments. You're like, wow, I did ask for this. I did ask for it. It didn't come the way I wanted it to, but it came the way I needed it to. So, once again, keep praying, stay faithful, and look out for those miracles that God has hidden for you. You'll be surprised how many prayers He answered for you. All right? I love you guys. Once again, until next time, like I always say, it's okay if you want to smell like Rome. I'll check you guys out in the next video. Until then, God bless in Jesus' name. Peace.